Welcome to the Dowden Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today we are going to talk about how I continue to beat my depression every single day, plus some things you can do if you're struggling just like me. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, depression is a topic that we've covered multiple times on this podcast because I myself have struggled with it a lot, and so do countless amounts of other people. Only having this topic just gets suppressed and overlooked more and more on a daily basis. But today, I really want to talk about what depression is really like and some things you can do if you're struggling on a daily basis, just like me. Because depression is hard, it is a struggle, and it is not easy. But at the end of the day, you cannot let it win because your life is the most valuable thing in this world. You see, growing up, I didn't see that. I was just really lost. I would self-harm. I would do a lot of these things because I didn't understand how important your life was. But the thing I learned the most was that with depression, you cannot act on your thoughts because if you do, you only just leave your pain for your family and friends to deal with, except it becomes 10 times stronger because you're gone. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I myself, unfortunately, have been on both ends. I understand what it's like to give up. I understand what it's like to not want to go on anymore. But I also understand what it's like to lose somebody because of mental health struggles. And I will sit here and tell you right now, taking your own life will not fix anything or take the pain away. It only makes things worse. And I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but I might as well because this is what I've gone through and the things I talk about. I just want people to understand that they are not alone. You see, I am 21 years old and I have had a total of 6 attempts under my belt. If any of those attempts were to work, I would not be able to sit here and talk to you today. I would not be able to give the motivation and find my purpose to talk to people like I have. And the reason that I have, that's what gives me motivation to keep pushing on a daily basis because I found a part of myself that I had no idea existed. Now, does it make it easy? I'm going to be honest, hell no, it doesn't. Because depression is basically like the little angel and devil on your shoulder, except there is no angel. It's only self doubt and bad thoughts at a constant time, and it can be a lot to deal with. But that's when you have to remind yourself that the things you've overcame already is your greatest success. Meaning anything you go through right now you can overcome because you've already been at your lowest of lows. And I do understand that that's genuinely one of the hardest things you can do. But once you figure that out, you will start to find yourself getting through those dark times, getting through those struggles, because you're not only beating your mind, but you're beating your depression. And when it comes to depression, every single win counts. But if you're having a hard time and struggling with depression on a daily basis like I do, the very first thing you need to do is sit down and just reflect. Reflect on the things you've been through, the certain situations, and try to understand the real root cause to your depression. Because if you can figure that out, then you can start to work around all these other little things to try and get rid of those overall bad thoughts. But once you've gone and reflected, the second thing you can try to do is see if there's anything in your life right now that you can change. Maybe it's a toxic relationship. Maybe it's a toxic work area. Whatever it is, if you feel like you need to change it, then make it happen because more than likely it is one of the causes for your stress or your depression. Now, I do understand that there's a lot of things in this world you cannot control or change. If your parents are fighting, I understand you can't fix that, but you have to try and find the positives through those things. If it's schoolwork, I understand you can't just drop out of school, but what you can do is find a really close teacher and go ask for help. If your parents are arguing, see if you can stay at a friend's house. Turn on music, go for a walk. I understand it's hard, but in those situations, you absolutely have to find the positives in them. Otherwise, the negativity will take over. But last but not least, because there are many things you can do, including going to therapy or going to certain centers, the thing that I found that helped me the most was finding a goal or hobby and just going all in. And it could be anything. I mean, really anything. It could be sports, music, anime, painting, podcasting, whatever it is. If it makes you happy and you enjoy it, go all in. Because when you go all in and you do something that you love, you leave no room for depression. And if those bad thoughts do come back, they do linger, then you now have something to do that you love that can hopefully push those away. So, if you're struggling with mental health, I just want you to understand that it's okay to not be okay. I understand what it's like. I understand how lonely it can feel. And if this is really to anybody, if you need somebody to talk to, just shoot me a DM. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, it doesn't matter who you are. I understand what it's like, and just a conversation with somebody can go a very, very long way. But if you're struggling with mental health and you really do need help right now, please text or call the number 988 to speak to somebody at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Because at the end of the day, it is not worth it. Life can be hard, but I promise you, there is some good. But with that said, today's quote is by Aristotle. He once said, "It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dowden Podcasts.